like to call this meeting to order. This is Rules and Open Government Committee for October 9, 2013. We will begin with the review of the October 22nd draft agenda since October 15 meeting is canceled. So we will begin with page 1. Are there any changes to page 1? 2 or 3?
Closed session 9 or 9:30?
9:30.
Page 4 or 5? 6 or 7? 8 or 9? 10 or 11? 12 or 13? 14 or 15? And 16. So I notice on here that we're going to be jointly here item 10.2 together with 11.2 and 11.3. So that will be heard under 10.2 for the other two items, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Correct, jointly.
The joint items, 10.2.
Yeah, and those have to do with the rocket ship. The only question is, will they be taking final action on the general plan?
No, I don't think so.
Or is that getting kicked?
I think that's
Yeah,
correct.
so we would have to do the,
Yeah. Laura
oh,
Smith.
go ahead, Laurel.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Laurel Permetti, Assistant Director for Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement. Yes, the concept is that on October 22nd, the council will be taking its general plan actions. We will be coming forward to rules to set a second general plan hearing for the evening of November 19th to consider a very important city project, the treatment plant, but that will be a separate hearing. So this, we want to conclude this particular hearing so we can move these applications forward.
Will the 10.5, which is the resolution approving all general plan actions, go on the 19th of November, or?
There'll be a separate resolution for the 19th. So we'll have one resolution for all of the actions that will be considered on the evening of the 22nd by the council, and then a separate resolution for the general plan action on the 19th.
Just the treatment plant?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Councilmember Herrera?
Yeah, I saw a note from Parks and Rec that the softball, baseball fields Measure P bond
It's supposed to be on there.
report was supposed to be on here, and I didn't see it. Did I just miss it?
Yeah, it's on October 29th.
Oh, it's on the 29th?
That's correct.
Okay, because there had been a notice saying it was going to be on the 22nd.
If it's the item that's going to Neighborhood Services and Education tomorrow, Measure P.
That's correct.
The softball complex, that's on October 29th.
On the 29th?
Right.
Okay, we'll make sure everyone knows that then. And is that, that will be an evening meeting?
No.
So
No, it's not.
I'm concerned because there are going to be a number of public, a number of the public going to be there, that we have it at a time when people can come and testify.
November 5th is an evening, so if we want to move it out 1 week to have it in the evening.
I would appreciate that we have it with an evening meeting, yeah.
So motion to
Hold on, we have an addition. We have someone who wants to speak. So let me just put the addition in. So we have an addition for the mayor absence request. He is at the Hoover Institution Leadership Forum today, and also for Councilmember Constant, who had a family emergency.
So motion to approve the agenda with the addition? That should be plurals.
Second, but do we need to add the November 5th?
It's not on the agenda right now.
Yeah, that's not on the agenda right now, so, okay, great. Second.
David Wall?
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Item 4.1, the sign amendments. I would also try to keep advocating that old billboard signs be permitted to go electronic. These electronic signs can bring in a lot of money to the city. Councilmember Herrera, the item 5.2 had a softball issue in it, if that's what you were thinking of. Item 7.1 is very disturbing, Madam Vice Mayor. $2,250,000 for to develop technical training at the water pollution control plant. This is something that needs to be explored a little bit more, since you're a member of TPAC. and I think we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. I think a management function is training people, and having to hire consultants to train people at the Water Pollution Control Plan at $2.25 million is a bit excessive. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Legislative update, we have none. Meeting schedules, none. Public record,
Can I, Vice Mayor?
yeah, okay, Councilmember
I
Herrera.
wanted to, do we need a motion to have the item, the ball fields, put on November 5th?
It's not on the agenda, right? That will be handled at
It
the
would be.
rules meeting.
So it'll be
later.
handled next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think staff will automatically put it on the 5th agenda, and it'll come to rules.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
we can also recommend that at Neighborhood Services and Education Committee meeting tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, under the public record, David Wall.
So raised by Mr. Piazza about trichloroethylene are somewhat significant. Par 9, in the early days when I was in the laboratory, we would go out there all the time at lunch, and the area was riddled with asbestos. And since that time period, the city has obviously brought in hundreds of thousands of cubic yards of dirt from a variety of city operations to close that landfill. I'm concerned about, I've never supported this zero waste cockamamie scheme in the first place. But it would be interesting, since it is plant land, the laboratory would be able to do some analysis out there. If they're driving pilings down through this landfill, it would be interesting to see, from a core sample point of view, what type of materials are underneath there, and whether or not this operation will provide enough weight on the surface of the ground to push this material into the surrounding aquifers. The laboratory justification for this would be because it's plant land. So the laboratory could either contract out the analysis or do the analysis in-house. Thank you.
Martha O'Connell.
I don't pretend to understand this stuff about TCE. I'm not a scientist. It's not my background. I just asked this gentleman a question, and the answer disturbed me greatly. I said, is this waste near minority schools and communities? And he told me, yes, that the majority of this dumping, or however this stuff gets there, is in minority communities. So that's a concern of mine.
Jim Piazza.
I used to think that you guys just didn't know, and you guys, again, were not educated. But I know that's not right. Again, after 57 violations, again, I repeat, not by my knowledge. Did you know this? I found another engineering report in the 80s that says the total opposite about all your other 3 engineers. When I tell you this, there's going to be a lot of licenses lost in this case, because let me tell you, these geologists have lied. 3 geologists, by the way. And let me tell you, I will come out with the truth, because why? I have the evidence, and I do have the paperwork. The truth will come out, gentlemen. It always does. Good day.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment.
Motion to note and file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to note and file. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We have nothing under boards, commissions, or committees. We will now move to the Rules Committee reviews, recommendations, and approvals, and we start with item G2, City Clerk Compensation Package Employment Agreement.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 3, Charter School Development Standards.
Motion to defer 1 week till Mayor Reed gets back.
Actually, I had a chance to speak with the mayor, and the point of the memo is actually for staff to be prepared to answer any questions in regards to the items that revolves around the charter schools that's going to appear on the council agenda on October 22nd.
Motion to approve.
Yeah. So we can just move this forward so that staff is prepared to answer questions. That's really the intent of the memo.
So the memo is really to follow on the item that's
That's right.
The school over there in the Tamiya neighborhood.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We move down to item 4, the resolution regarding sister city relationship with a city in Russia that I can't pronounce. If Councilmember Carr can help me.
Turnenberg.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I signed on the memo, prepared a memo that was signed on by my colleagues, Councilmember Campos and Constant, regarding our sister city relationship with Ekaterinburg, as well as the actions by the Russian Federation in regards to the anti-gay legislation and rhetoric. The memo is being put forward for several reasons, in addition to the fact that we certainly want to stand up against any government that's going to put forward anti-LGBT laws or any laws that violate one's equal rights. In addition, we do have a unique relationship with Russia through our sister city relationship of Ekaterinburg. And we also have the Sister City Conference coming here next year in San Jose. So I think we have a really great opportunity to not only do the condemnation of Russia, which may have just symbolic value to it, but still I think important value, but in addition, take advantage of this relationship we currently have with our Russian sister city, as well as the conference coming here next year, to really open up a good dialogue. And sister city relationships, for those that don't know, are citizen diplomacy relationships, so not government to government. So we certainly don't want to condemn and end a sister city relationship for residents that have nothing to do with what their government is doing in terms of the government's stand. We have with us here Joe Hedges, who oversees our Sister City program. I've also had the opportunity to speak with Sister City International, just so that they're aware that we're putting this language forward. And I've also consulted with BAMEC, of course, which is the leading advocacy organization locally in regards to LGBT rights in preparing this memorandum, as well as the language for the resolution.
Thank you. I just had just one question. I haven't received any emails or phone calls or anything like that in regards to residents here in the city, having questions about our commitment to maintain the city's sister city relationship. I'm not sure if you have.
There was a petition that was
Okay.
that was started locally by a San Jose resident that's a member of the LGBT community and advocate for the LGBT community, asking us to sever our relationship. It's not uncommon. It's being done in other cities as well. And so this is in part a response to the calls from the community to end the sister city relationship. We think this is a better route that will allow us to maintain our friendship and relationship with the citizens of Ekaterinburg.
Okay. Questions, comments?
I just wonder if we've ever done this before. I'm inclined to support this, I think, especially since it was initiated by someone who wanted us to end the sister city relationship. So we're not sort of taking the onus on our own, just picking out a city and going after a policy we don't like. This is coming from someone who has that relationship to Russia. But I just wondered if Joe Hedges wanted to have anything to say about, is this any conflict with our sister cities program and taking a position like this? I just want to get staff's opinion on it.
Good afternoon. I'm Joe Hedges from the Office of Economic Development, International Program Manager. The city's sister city affiliation with Ekaterinburg was established in 1992. It's a strong relationship that has involved citizens from San Jose State University, and it has been a very productive relationship for the city. The city, our office has not received any communication from members of the public regarding this matter in Russia. This particular resolution would confirm San Jose sister city affiliation with Ekaterinburg, which we support. We support the continuation and the strengthening of our sister city affiliation with Ekaterinburg.
Do you see any problem with us weighing in on this other issue in terms of the rights of LGBT people and how that would affect other sister city relationships?
Well,
that's my only concern. Do we set a precedent, and then we're going to weigh in on other issues in other countries where we have those sister city relationships?
Well, that's an issue I believe for the council to consider. Certainly, the possible impact with the relationship with Russia and just the role that you want the council to play in establishing, a position on an international matter, which is really the responsibility of the federal government. But it's for the council to determine if you want to weigh in on this particular issue.
Well, if we support this, it just goes to the council, and the council gets to weigh in on it at this point, right? So it just gives them a chance.
And Councilor Herrera, if I could follow up with your question, Vice Mayor, if you allow.
Councilmember Carr.
I didn't mention earlier this summer I joined the board of Sister Cities International, so I'm one of only about 24 board members. So I have a very, that's what when I said I connected with them was in a very detailed manner to make sure that what we were doing is not in conflict with Sister Cities, with the Sister Cities stand. Now, we wrote this is not coming from Sister Cities International. However, it's not inconsistent with the Sister City relationship. Sister Cities does have a relationship with the State Department, but is now wholly separated from the federal government in a formal manner. But that's what so I was clear, and our staff was very diligent in ensuring that we continue to communicate with the Sister Cities International staff so that they knew what we were doing and they knew that it was not going to be inconsistent with either the conference coming here next year or the relationships that Sister City has around the state and nation.
Any other questions or comments? Martha O'Connor, you want to speak on this item?
This is a very difficult issue, and the GLBT community is definitely not united on this issue. I didn't know how I felt. I support this, although I hope that that this isn't just going to go to council. I hope that a copy of this is going to go to the city, Ekaterinburg, so that they know how we feel. And we went through the same argument, ladies and gentlemen, about South Africa. And I think it's very important that the city make moral statements and say, no, this is not acceptable for this government to be doing this. So I thank Councilperson Culler and the rest of the folks who signed on to this. And as long as you're going to make it clear to the Russian government that this is how you feel, I support it. But once again, there are gay artists who are boycotting Russia, and Elton John has said he's going because he says he's going to make a statement from the stage when he does his concerts. So maybe this is weighing in on the Elton John side.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment. Councilman Herrera.
And we do have some precedent from there are folks that don't think we should weigh in on anything other than very local city matters, and the city council did weigh in on supporting gay marriage, so we already have a precedent for weighing in on some of these issues. And I would make a motion to move this forward to council.
I would be inclined to wait for Mayor Reed to return next Wednesday, and also Councilmember Constant, who's a co-author of the memo, would be here, so I would not be able to second it today. I'd be happy to hear it next week when the mayor returns.
I think this is just asking us to move this forward to the city council, to have the full council weighed in, so I'm inclined to support, and I'll second that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think if Councilmember Constant's on the memo, I'm sure he would be voting yes.
Yeah, and we know that his father is ill, and so otherwise he was going to be here. I certainly consulted with him and Councilor Campos in putting together the entire memo and resolution.
Okay. We have a motion to move this item to the October 22nd city agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
One.
Okay. One opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We are down to item H, review of additions to council committee agendas and work plans, and we have none. Nothing under open government. Open forum. I think we have one card. David Wall?
One thing I think that should be talked about when it comes to the water pollution control plan is what the history behind it insofar as when ESD was created. When the Department of Water Pollution Control, it used to stand by itself, was melded into the Environmental Services Department, the appointing authority appointed one director, the first director. That director didn't want any deputy directors. At some point in time, he had to leave. The city then, the appointing authority, appointed a deputy director or assistant director of public works to that position. He created 4 deputy positions, and eventually he hired the assistant director of ESD, which is John Stufflebean. Carl Mosher left. Stufflebean became the director, and he appointed Gary Romanow, and he also created the 5th deputy position. Well, Stufflebean kowtowed and catered to green vision ideas instead of, as well as Mosher and the rest of them, didn't take care of the water pollution control plant's maintenance needs that have exacerbated till today. Now we see the appointing authority appoint the next generation of assistant director. Now this is the issue that I raise about section 411.1 of the city charter. This continuous cycle of these appointments at the assistant level, that they don't take care of the water pollution control plant. And now the excuse is when the plant will fail, and it will fail, is that the machinery is old or the plant is old. That is true, but that's not the underlying reason why the plant will fail. The plant will fail because of generations of these appointments of high-level people that just don't take care of the water pollution control plant's maintenance needs and replacement needs.
Thank you, David. That concludes the open forum. That concludes our meeting. We are adjourned.